So I'm here with Broder, talking about rest and relaxation.
Absolutely. It's something that frankly I missed in a lot of my career. And I think it actually was a mistake. And I'll give you a great example. I was brought up a fairly religious person, not really that important what religion, but my belief is very strong. And one of the things that we were taught is that Sabbath is very important. And people might say, why? Especially in the older times when there really wasn't much to do after the sun went down and people were typically in their homes. There was a lot more family time. Sabbath is a time when you relax and you enjoy the fruits of your week. And what we do, and this is of course an extreme situation, but extreme in a good way, I would say, we actually completely rest. You could not get me on the telephone for $1 million on a Saturday. Just couldn't happen. People that do business with me know that from Friday night until Saturday night, they could call till they were blue in the face. It would not get answered. Now, in case of emergency, of course, that would be different. Having to do with business, absolutely never. Now, why, you might say? People might want to talk to you. Business people may want to get in touch. You know what? There were times when there weren't cell phones, and then there weren't pagers, and then there weren't beepers before that, and then there weren't the alphabet and all. There were times when getting in touch with the street rep meant he called in once a day and got his messages. Today we've gotten to a culture where if I don't answer the call, you hang up, you call again. If I can't get it again, I leave a message, and it usually goes something like, please call me, it's really urgent, it's as quickly as possible, this business deal. And you finally get to the call and you go, what was so urgent? Oh, no, I just wanted to get you on the phone. It was really important that I talk to you. It's so distorted. The way we have time now, and the way that we commit our time, and the way we're constantly running and moving and all of those things, I think a Sabbath, a rest, call it whatever you want, where you disconnect yourself from your hustle and bustle of every single day, it has an amazing healing power. Now you may go, what do I need a healing power for? Because a lot of people, very frankly, are going nonstop and they never have a chance to chill out. Well, what do I need to chill out for? Well, you'll notice that a lot of people today, the biggest selling prescription drugs are for what?
Depression, anxiety.
Right, depression and anxiety, but what depression and anxiety specifically causes very often stomach problems.
And erectile dysfunction.
And erectile dysfunction. When it becomes a psychological issue, absolutely, it can really work on you. That's interesting. I think a lot of people could work out a lot of their things just by going on long walks a couple times a week and maybe working out slightly more instead of sitting around. But that's for another conversation. But I think that the biggest thing is these stomach formulas. The things for all the different problems that show up in the gut.
Yeah.
Well, that I believe is very heavily linked to not enough rest. See, sleep, they're now finding, is that lack of sleep, all the problems and ailments just that one thing cause. It's interesting. I don't believe in a lot of the things that Bill Clinton believes in, actually almost nothing. However, I heard him say a very interesting thing in an interview, I believe, with Charlie Rose, or somebody big was interviewing him. And they said, what's the number one problem the country faces right now? And I was very surprised to hear the answer, and I agree with him. He said, lack of sleep.
Wow.
He said, as a country, we're so stressed and we get so little sleep, and there's study after study that shows this, that the sleep leads to things like irritation and leads to arguments between people and leads to all these things that are caused from sleep deprivation are what are causing our lack of civility towards one another. If you really think about it, that's a pretty astute thing to notice, because guys like him, he is a Rhodes Scholar, are supposed to be thinking of root things and root causes. And that very likely could have a major impact. I can think of people in my own life that I know that tell me have very tough time sleeping. They end up being much more irritable kind of people when you know they haven't slept. So why wouldn't that play through? So what we do for Sabbath is we actually prepare for it. We get a little bit nicer of foods than maybe we would normally have during the week. We get a little bit better of cakes, for example, or nicer quality fruits, or things that we can really enjoy. We get things that we like to read. I personally like to read astronomy, and I like to read Discover. And very frankly, in the back seat of the car, because it's Friday, they're in the bag. I've already stopped. You can see both of them. Astronomy and Discovery. You're getting free advertising from me. It's okay. I happen to like to read those on Sabbath. I have a book on mysticism that I'm going to read this Sabbath. Very interesting stuff to me. Might not be. You may want to read about baseball and working out. Doesn't make any difference what it is. You take a second to recharge, to step back and say, I had an unbelievable week. Let me reflect on it. Now, I'm very rarely am I ever going to make a biblical reference, but I am going to make one biblical reference because I think it really comes into play with business. It says, 6 complete days you shall work, and then on the 7th day you should rest. It doesn't say 6 days you should work. It says 6 complete days. That means you are supposed to work hard. And you do have to go out and accomplish, and you have to face the world, and you have to do all those things. But when it divides out the 7th day, what that says to me is it's supposed to be made special. Things that are pointed out as unique are either usually from a bad standpoint or from a good standpoint. This one is for a good standpoint. It gives you the ability to enjoy what you worked hard all week for, and whatever day you do that. Some do it Friday, some do it Saturday, some do it Sunday. But almost all great religions have some concept of rest. The good Lord or the Maker or the universe or the higher power or whatever you may call it gave us this to enjoy. Step back every once in a while and try it. Enjoy a Sabbath every once in a while. Sabbaticals, we've all heard of them. When we earn that and we can take that long period of time off, that'll be great. But give yourself a sabbatical once a week. And maybe you can't do it a whole day. Maybe you do it a few hours. Maybe you do it where I'm going to get up and I'm going to be productive in the morning. Maybe it's the afternoon. Maybe it's the evening. Whatever works for you. But try it. Rest and see that you'll reap the rewards during the week. As always, it's been a pleasure spending time with you. We'll talk again soon.